Good evening, and welcome to Cultic. A game released in October of 2022. It however looks like it was released in 1992. I'm kidding, Jason. This is another boomer shooter. I know, a first for my channel. This game was made entirely by one man, Jason Smith, who did literally everything that there is to find. Gameplay, graphics, even the OST. There's good, and then there's primal fucking animal. Jason is both. Gameplay. The gameplay of Cultic is quite simple. You move, slide, crawl, and jump your way through a variety of levels. 10 to be exact. 10 is also the price of this game right now. And after doing some quick math, that comes out to $1 whole a level. It even has a demo if you're a child with no independent income. Anyway, in Cultic, you're a disgraced detective who decides to investigate a string of mysterious disappearances. Naturally, you get there and take on a cult. Very surprising. I know. Starting off in pretty normal areas like a forest and a harbor, before slowly spiraling down into more decrepit places like asylums, sewer systems, and creepy sacrificial chambers. While the game starts off with you taking on just regular, boring people who attack you with stuff like axes and guns, proper caveman type shit, it won't be long until you're fighting off hordes of gun-toting skeletons, telekinetic mental patients, and other types of monsters. Fear not, as on your way through the end of Chapter 1, you'll come across a vast arsenal of firearms, melee items, and throwables. The first one of these being the axe, your trusty melee weapon that you can use to lob the heads off many cultists. You can spam click mouse 1 or just hold it to charge up a more powerful strike if you're not a fan of developing early onset carpal tunnel syndrome. Collecting more than one axe will allow you to test out your curvature and acceleration critical thinking. After reading this mandatory 16-page document, you should turn into the greatest axe pitcher known to man, able to decapitate cultists before they even know you were there. All jokes aside, hitting one of these from like 20 feet away is insanely satisfying. Would recommend. Speaking of throwing stuff, dynamite and Molotov cocktails. Both of these are quite handy when it comes to dealing with enemies. Use dynamite for immediate results, and use Molotovs if you prefer hearing your enemies scream out in pain as the flesh melts off their bones. Friendly reminder to actually light your dynamite before throwing it, because the cult will throw it back and use it to splatter your insides to any nearby wall. Be careful when throwing Molotov cocktails too. They don't discriminate when it comes to who they actually light on fire. Next up, guns. This game takes place in rural America, so naturally he comes packed with an arsenal so old and crusty, FPS Russia would cream his pants for it. The first one being a handgun. It packs a decent punch against lower tier enemies, but quickly runs out of use against the bigger and tankier ones. Next up is the lever action rifle, a precise melon popping machine that you can use to quickly dispatch large groups of enemies. Hitting headshots causes time to slow down, allowing you to line up your next shot with ease to get a satisfying string of one-taps going. If you're lucky enough, you can also line up two enemies and send them both packing at the same time. Our third gun is a bit of a bossman G weapon, the double-barreled shotgun, a powerful boomstick capable of making mincemeat out of most enemies with 1 or 2 shots. Shoot 1 or 2 barrels at the same time for maximum destruction. The Sten is the only fully automatic weapon in the game, and it's insanely fun to use, as you turn this otherwise decently challenging boomer shooter into just another shitty COD knockoff. The Sten has decent damage but runs out of ammo fast, on account of its even faster fire rates. For some long-range action, we've got the FG-42, a precision rifle that you can use to pick off a bunch of enemies before you get up close and personal with them. Next up is the grenade launcher, which is quite handy when it comes to spontaneously combusting whatever you happen to be pointing it at. Lastly, there's the flamethrower, which is essentially a giant Molotov that you carry around. It's quite fun and equally as deadly. Most weapons have a secondary fire option like the pistol burst fire or the lever action having a faster fire rate. All weapons can be upgraded by finding weapon parts and an upgrade bench. Upgrades range from faster fire rate to increased accuracy to larger magazine sizes. They're not mandatory, but they do make the game easier for some of those eventual difficulty spikes you're gonna come across. The story of Cultic is quite simple. You play as a detective who decides to investigate a series of disappearances in and around an old mining town. Throughout your 3 to 4 hour adventure, you'll be taking on cultists, monsters, and monstrous cultists. While you can play the game like it's Doom Eternal, it's not recommended as the overwhelming amount of enemies will prove seriously harmful to your well-being. There's a good amount of secrets and hidden pickups to find. Also, keep in mind that the main character seems to be part of some type of frog family, able to leap what appears to be several feet into the air at once. Accompanying you on this wild ride is an absolute banger of an OST. Here, have a listen. All of this gives you pep in your step as you blast your way through this crunchy and punchy first-person shooter. Culminating with taking on a rather large fella dubbed the Abomination, who lives up to his name. Look at his 3-armed, no-leg having ass. Killing him results in him, dying. And a portal opening up to a mysterious world. Naturally, we jump right in, most likely leading to Chapter 2. I wouldn't know, it's not out yet. If you're looking to have more fun with Cultic though, you can always take the classic survival mode for a spin. Kill enemies, buy weapons, kill more enemies. Overall, it's a pretty solid entry into the genre, and made by just one guy. Quite impressive indeed. As I mentioned earlier, it is currently $10, but I'd imagine the price will substantially rise upon development's completion. Better to get in now than down the line. Or, if you're an absolute Giga Chad, you can always wait to buy it at the full price. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and thanks for watching to the end of this video. What's your New Year's resolution? Mine is having some form of consistency in my uploads. Hahaha, Dead Rising 2 next. So, keep your eyes peeled for that one. It's gonna be a long one. Follow me on Twitter and join my Discord. As always, I wish you all the best. I've been Xanivus. Till next time.